Did you ever wonder why a person can feel an overwhelming attraction yet still retreat? This paradox often stems from the psychological warfare waged within. Many divine masculines face a struggle between their innate desire for deep connection and the societal conditioning that teaches them to suppress emotions and maintain a facade of strength. As they confront their inner demons, the fear of truly opening up can lead to painful separations, leaving both partners bewildered and hurt. In this reading, we will delve into the specific ego challenges the divine masculine encounters and examine how these hurdles manifest as behaviors that push the divine feminine away. We will explore 5 key aspects. Each of these factors plays a crucial role in the complex interplay between the divine masculine and divine feminine, shaping their journey toward healing and eventual reunion. Understanding these dynamics is not only enlightening, but also empowering. By recognizing the influence of the ego, both partners can take steps toward breaking down barriers, facilitating personal growth, and nurturing the spiritual connection that defines their twin flame bond. So, let's embark on this exploration of ego and love, unraveling the intricate patterns that both challenge and enhance the twin flame experience. Who knows? In unpacking these issues, we may just find the keys to healing and deeper connection that we've been searching for all along. In the labyrinthine journey of twin flame relationships, one of the most profound challenges faced by the divine masculine is the fear of vulnerability. Picture a grand fortress with high stone walls and guarded gates. This fortress symbolizes the heart of the divine masculine, meticulously constructed over years of societal conditioning and personal experiences. Within these walls, lies not only his heart, but also a tangled web of emotions, fears, and insecurities that have been shrouded in silence. The question arises, why does he fortify himself to such an extent, guarding against the very love that could be his salvation? To dive deeper into this mystery, it's essential to reflect on the societal narrative surrounding masculinity. From a young age, boys are often taught that emotions are weaknesses, that to cry is to fail, and that showing tenderness equates to losing control. This conditioning plants the seeds of fear within them, fear that vulnerability will expose them to pain, rejection, or ridicule. As the divine masculine encounters his twin flame, he faces an emotional awakening that can feel like an earthquake, shaking the very foundations of his carefully constructed fortress. Suddenly, the walls that once provided security begin to feel like prisons, confining him in a space where he cannot fully express or experience love. This paradox is profound. The very love he desires becomes the catalyst for his greatest fears. Like the proverbial moth drawn to the flame, he longs for the light of connection, yet recoils at the thought of the potential burns that intimacy may inflict. Therein lies a tangled web of desire and trepidation, a relentless push-pull that leaves both partners in a state of confusion. Imagine a seed planted deep in the earth. To grow, it must push through the soil, face the harshness of the elements, and stretch toward the sun. For the divine masculine, the nurturing warmth of his divine feminine represents that sunlight, radiant, life-giving, yet intimidating. His fear of vulnerability means he hesitates to break through the surface. What if he discovers that he's not strong enough? What if the light reveals cracks in his facade that he spent a lifetime perfecting? This is the essence of his struggle. He grapples with the idea that true strength comes not from hiding behind walls, but from the courage to open the gates and embrace the unknown. Philosophically, we can reflect on the nature of love itself. Love is often depicted as an expansive force, like the vast ocean that encompasses every shore. Yet, to the divine masculine, love can feel like a stormy sea, where every wave threatens to drown him in vulnerability. This perception is not a reflection of love's true nature, but rather an illustration of his fear. The irony is profound. In attempting to protect himself from vulnerability, he inadvertently barricades himself from experiencing the richness and depth of love. Isn't it a tragedy to live on the cusp of something beautiful, yet remain rooted in fear? As he navigates this tumultuous emotional landscape, the process of unlearning becomes vital. It's a journey where he must confront the echoes of his past, those moments when vulnerability led to hurt, those teachings that instilled fear rather than trust. The divine feminine, in her unwavering strength and empathy, offers him a lifeline, a chance to see vulnerability not as a threat, but as an opportunity for profound connection. It's essential to recognize that her love is a sanctuary, not a battlefield. In this light, vulnerability transforms from something terrifying into a shared exploration, a chance to build bridges rather than walls. The truth is, the awakening of the divine masculine is not merely about overcoming fear. It's also about rediscovering the power and beauty of vulnerability. This journey doesn't diminish his masculinity. Rather, it redefines it, shaping a new archetype of a man who is not just a protector, but a nurturer, one who embraces his emotions and seeks connection freely and authentically. The fear of vulnerability is a profound teacher. As the divine masculine learns to dismantle the fortress around his heart, he opens himself to the possibility of true love, one that is not stifled by fear, but enriched by the depths of emotional truth. Just like that seed yearning for sunlight, he must embrace the growing pains and rise toward the warmth of unconditional love. The journey may be fraught with challenges, but the promise it holds is that of a love deeper and more fulfilling than he ever dreamed possible. A love that, when shared with his divine feminine, can illuminate the path to both healing and union. In the intricate dance of twin flame relationships, self-doubt often casts a long shadow over the divine masculine's heart, creating a paradox that can feel overwhelmingly isolating. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast chasm, peering into the depths below. This chasm represents the profound connection that exists between the divine masculine and his counterpart, the divine feminine. The closer he gets to the edge, the louder the whispers of inadequacy become, echoes that suggest he is unworthy of such a deep, transcendent love. How can one cross such a daunting divide when the very ground beneath their feet feels so unstable, so fraught with insecurity? The divine masculine may find himself paralyzed by the weight of these insecurities. believing he isn't enough for the divine feminine who shines so brightly, so effortlessly. He may think, what do I have to offer? How can I protect someone so radiant? Much like a bird that has never taken flight, he flutters nervously around the edges of love, afraid to leap into the expanse of vulnerability. Here lies the crux of self-doubt. It is a prison of his own making, fortified by past experiences, societal expectations, and deeply ingrained beliefs about masculinity. He is the knight who refuses to enter the dragon's lair, fearing that the confrontation may reveal not only the beast within, but the fragility of his own heart. Consider this. How often have we celebrated the success of men while overlooking their emotional struggles? The very essence of masculinity, as it is often portrayed, demands stoicism and strength, leaving little room for the vulnerability that true connection requires. Ironically, it is this very vulnerability that holds the key to deeper intimacy, a paradox that, if understood, could lead the divine masculine out of his self-imposed exile. Self-doubt is the thief of joy and the robber of connection. It whispers insidiously, sowing discord where there could be unity. You don't deserve her, it hisses. You'll only bring her down. This internal monologue creates a vicious cycle. The more he retreats into self-doubt and shame, the further he distances himself from his divine feminine, who, in her profound love, only wishes to mirror the strengths he cannot yet see in himself. Observing her from afar, he becomes entrenched in a narrative that diminishes his power, blinded by the belief that her light could never illuminate his own. In life's tapestry, self-doubt weaves a thread of hesitation. However, the divine masculine must reclaim his narrative. The beliefs he holds about himself can either be shackles that bind him or wings that enable him to soar. Just as a tree cannot grow if its roots remain shallow, the divine masculine must dig deep into the soil of self-acceptance to nourish his growth. He can choose to embrace the challenges along the way as stepping stones, each one a lesson, a reminder that he is not alone in this journey. Ultimately, the story of self-doubt can evolve into a narrative of self-discovery and empowerment. As the divine masculine learns to embrace his worthiness, he not only liberates himself, but also creates a space where the divine feminine can thrive alongside him. Together, they can illuminate the path toward union, transcending doubts and insecurities into a shared experience of love and acceptance. So, let's celebrate the journey of overcoming self-doubt. Let's honor the divine masculine's struggle as an integral part of his evolution, a journey toward self-realization that enriches the bond he shares with his divine feminine. Ultimately, in recognizing and embracing his worth, he transforms not just his own life, but the very essence of their relationship, paving the way for a love that is as profound as it is unconditional. In the intricate landscape of twin flame relationships, control issues emerge as a significant obstacle, often woven with threads of fear and insecurity. The divine masculine, grappling with intense emotions, stirred by the connection, finds himself in a precarious position, a tightrope walker navigating a dizzying height, each step forward fraught with the potential to lose balance and plunge into the abyss of vulnerability. What compels him to act in ways that push his divine feminine away, especially when his heart yearns for her closeness? The answer lies deep within the duality of human experience. where the need for control can sometimes feel like an insurmountable fortress. Picture this: the divine masculine standing at the edge of a vast canyon, the chasm representing the emotional depth of his twin flame connection. As he peers over the edge, he feels the exhilarating pull of the abyss, the dark depths filled with the unknowns of intimacy, love, and the rawness of emotion. The urge to leap into this chasm is met with an equally strong desire to retreat back to the safety of solid ground, the familiar territory of control and rationality. He's been conditioned to believe that control equates to strength, and here lies the paradox. While he longs to connect with his divine feminine, he fears that surrendering this control will render him vulnerable and weak. The divine masculine may approach relationships, seeing interactions as a game where he must play to win, fearing that any sign of weakness will lead to defeat. He may think, if I allow myself to feel too much, I risk losing the game. But what he fails to realize is that true intimacy is not a game at all. It's an intricate dance that thrives on authenticity, trust, and the willingness to be vulnerable. At the core of these control issues lies an inherent fear of losing oneself, losing the identity that has been painstakingly crafted over time. The divine masculine may perceive the intensity of the twin flame relationship as a force that threatens to engulf him, drowning him in emotions he feels ill-equipped to handle. This fear of emotional overwhelm drives him to adopt defensive strategies, such as distancing or exerting control over his partner. It's akin to a dam holding back a raging river. The dam may hold strong for a while, but eventually the pressure mounts, and the floodgates threaten to burst, creating chaos. This defense mechanism becomes a deeply ingrained pattern, one that he unconsciously replicates in his twin flame relationship. When faced with the intensity of the connection, his instinct is to retreat or dominate, effectively pushing the divine feminine away as a means of self-preservation. As the divine feminine embodies her own strength and wisdom, she often reflects back to him the shadows he has avoided. Her presence can feel both illuminating and threatening, awakening parts of him that he has long buried. The divine masculine may find himself acting out in ways that seem irrational, yet in his mind, they are justified. After all, he believes he is protecting himself from potential heartbreak. But in doing so, he neglects to realize that pushing her away only amplifies his own feelings of loneliness and self-doubt. The transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires self-exploration, introspection, and often a willingness to face discomfort. In moments of reflection, the divine masculine can begin to dismantle the walls he has built around himself. By allowing himself to experience the fullness of love, he gains the strength to truly protect his divine feminine, not by controlling her, but by supporting her in her journey as she blossoms into her true self. So, as the divine masculine continues this journey of self-discovery, let him remember, true connection cannot flourish in the confines of control. Only by daring to step into the unknown can he forge a path toward a deeper, more meaningful relationship with his divine feminine. With each step taken off the tightrope, he inches closer to the truth. That surrendering control opens the door to a love that is limitless, transformative, and ultimately deeply fulfilling. In the realm of twin flame relationships, where emotions run as deep and tumultuous as the ocean, avoidance of intensity can often become a primary defense mechanism for the divine masculine. The mesmerizing pull of the connection, the very thing he craves, can become a source of dread, compelling him to retreat rather than dive deep into the waters of vulnerability and intimacy. This dance with avoidance is not merely a personal struggle. It's a reflection of the larger, often unacknowledged human experience. For the divine masculine, the twin flame connection is a mirror reflecting both his potential for love and the shadows of unresolved past traumas. He may think, if I let her in, what else might surface? What emotions have I kept buried for so long? As he grapples with these questions, the instinct to pull away becomes a protective mechanism, a way of keeping the floodgates of emotion at bay. Think of a deep-sea diver preparing to explore the ocean's depths. Before diving into the blue abyss, the diver must confront the fear of the unknown, the dark corners of the sea that may harbor both beauty and danger. The allure of vibrant coral reefs and enchanting marine life beckons, yet the fear of the deep, its murky waters and unpredictable currents, can paralyze him. For the divine masculine, this dive into emotional intimacy can feel just as daunting. The depth of connection with his divine feminine represents both a thrilling adventure and a potential peril. To dive in means confronting not only the joy of love, but also the pain of past wounds and unresolved emotions. As the divine masculine engages in this dance of avoidance, he may rely on various coping mechanisms, rationalization, distraction, or even denial, each serving to keep the emotional intensity at bay. Perhaps he immerses himself in work, convinces himself that he is too busy to engage, or seeks solace in external validation from friends or fleeting relationships. These distractions create a false sense of security, allowing him to sidestep the discomfort that comes from facing the depths of his own emotional landscape. Yet, the irony is that by avoiding these feelings, he only amplifies the turmoil within and creates a chasm between himself and his divine feminine. In moments of reflection, it becomes apparent that this avoidance ultimately serves to perpetuate a cycle of disconnection. The divine feminine, feeling the pull of his distance, may question her worth or wonder what has changed between them. Her love, so profound and unconditional, can become a source of confusion and pain as she struggles to comprehend the barriers he has erected. The energy between them becomes a push-pull dynamic. Her desire to connect clashes with his instinct to withdraw, creating a tension that can be both frustrating and heartbreaking. However, within this complexity lies a path to healing. The divine masculine's journey toward acknowledging and embracing emotional intensity is not merely about confronting his fears. It's about discovering the transformative power that resides within vulnerability. This journey requires courage, the courage to embrace discomfort, to dismantle the walls built over years of conditioning, and to learn that true strength lies not in control, but in authenticity. By surrendering to the ebb and flow of emotion, he opens himself up to the very love he seeks, discovering that intimacy is a dance of both light and shadow, joy and pain. one of the most profound aspects that must be examined is the influence of cultural conditioning on the divine masculine. This conditioning shapes not only their identity, but also their behaviors and responses in relationships, often acting as a barrier to true emotional connection. Cultural conditioning paints a strikingly narrow portrait of masculinity, one that often equates emotional expression with weakness and promotes a facade of rugged individualism. As a result, many divine masculines find themselves trapped in a paradox. They yearn for the depth and connection that a twin flame relationship promises, yet they are simultaneously terrified of what that intimacy demands. A dismantling of the constructs that have shaped their identity. For generations, the archetype of the warrior has been celebrated in narratives and cultures around the world. A warrior is brave, strong, and unyielding. Yet, what happens when that warrior encounters a force that challenges their very understanding of strength? That is, the profound love of a twin flame. The inner conflict can be overwhelming. The warrior may attempt to wield their emotional armor as a shield, fighting the very feelings that could lead to a deeper connection. This is the essence of cultural conditioning. It teaches the divine masculine to fear emotional intimacy, leading to a withdrawal that ultimately pushes the divine feminine away. As we delve deeper into this mystery, we can reflect on the effects of these conditioning patterns. The divine masculine may experience an identity crisis when faced with the love of their twin flame. On one hand, there's the desire to connect, to be vulnerable, to open the heart fully. On the other, there's the ingrained belief that doing so would equate to a loss of power, an erosion of their perceived masculinity. What does it mean to be a man in love? In a world that idolizes control and self-sufficiency, admitting to feelings can feel like a surrender, a relinquishing of the very traits that society has taught them to cherish. The cultural conditioning that affects the divine masculine is not an insurmountable barrier. Rather, it can be viewed as an opportunity for profound transformation. When the divine masculine begins to dismantle the barriers constructed by societal expectations, he can uncover the beauty of his authentic self, a self that is not defined by rigid norms, but by the richness of his emotional experience. Moreover, the path to self-discovery often requires confronting painful truths. The divine masculine must ask himself, what lies beneath my fears? What am I truly afraid of losing? By delving into these questions, he can begin to peel back the layers of conditioning, venturing into the depths of his psyche. This exploration may reveal traumas, insecurities, and past wounds that have shaped his worldview. It's a courageous journey, one that demands vulnerability and a willingness to embrace discomfort. The process can be likened to mining for precious gems. Only through digging deep can one uncover the treasures hidden beneath the surface. As the divine masculine learns to navigate these complexities, he also begins to recognize that love and connection are not threats to his identity, but rather enhancements. Love opens doors to a realm of possibility, providing the sanctuary he desperately seeks. He begins to understand that true strength is not in resisting vulnerability, but in embracing it. The lyrics of a well-loved song echo this sentiment. Love will keep us together. In this context, love becomes a guiding force, illuminating the path toward healing and reunion with his divine feminine. As we've explored, the divine masculine's ego often manifests through a fear of vulnerability. This fear tells him that to truly connect emotionally is to expose a weakness. It's this protective instinct that leads him to retreat, leaving the divine feminine feeling unworthy or rejected. But what if he realized that true strength lies in emotional openness? As he begins to dismantle these walls, he opens the door to deeper intimacy, fostering an environment where unconditional love can flourish. Similarly, the self-doubt that plagues many divine masculines can cloud their judgment about their worthiness of love. They may subconsciously believe that they are not enough for their divine feminine, viewing her as an unattainable ideal. This internal battle can result in distancing behaviors, leaving the feminine heart aching in silence. As the divine masculine learns to embrace his true self, he begins to see that his worth is not contingent upon external validation, but rather rooted in the love he can offer and receive. Control issues further complicate this already intricate relationship. However, in the dynamic of twin flames, this need for control often creates a push-pull effect that can alienate the very person he seeks to protect. By actively choosing to relinquish control and allow vulnerability, he not only empowers himself, but invites the divine feminine to do the same, creating a harmonious balance that honors both partners' energies. As both the divine masculine and feminine embark on their respective journeys of self-discovery and healing, it's crucial to recognize that separation often serves as a catalyst for personal growth. The divine feminine, in her quest for self-love and empowerment, begins to reclaim her essence, ultimately becoming a source of inspiration for the divine masculine. When she steps into her power, mirroring strength and confidence, the divine masculine feels the magnetic pull of her energy, prompting him to confront his own fears and insecurities. Ultimately, the twin flame journey is one of transformation, an opportunity for both partners to transcend their ego-driven behaviors and embrace a deeper connection rooted in unconditional love. The realization that the divine feminine cannot be pushed away by the divine masculine, but rather that she chooses to step back for her growth, is a powerful turning point. As both partners navigate this complex landscape, they must remember that love is not about possession or control, but about support, understanding, and the willingness to grow together.